Hello everyone, welcome back to LPRs Delivery. As an air traffic controller, most of your day is spent talking to people, talking to pilots, talking to other controllers, etc. So in the exam, you're often going to have to talk about these conversations. For example, the pilot told me something. I said this. So today's lesson is about reported speech. Let's look at an example. We have an emergency on board. Maybe a pilot would say this. So in the exam, you could say, the pilot said, we have an emergency on board. Then I asked, what is your emergency? And he said, a passenger is having a heart attack. Now, you notice here that we're quoting exactly what was said. This is called direct speech. Now, we don't often use direct speech. It sounds kind of like someone gossiping on the phone. For example, and she said, are you really going to wear that? And I said, are you kidding me? And she said, oh my God. So we don't often speak like that. So another reason is that we don't often remember exactly what people said. So it's much better to use reported speech. To make reported speech, we need to change a few things. First of all, in writing, we don't have the quotation marks and the commas to set off the things. Also, we need to change the pronouns. For example, we will change to they, or your would change to his. Another thing we need to change is the verbs. The pilot said they have needs to change to had. We usually switch to the past tense. Is becomes was. Is having becomes was having. Also, with things like questions, what was his emergency changes to what his emergency was. Also, we can add the word that. The pilot said that they, etc. Now, this is mini rules, and I know it's a lot, so we'll go slowly, step by step, and see what exactly we need to do. First, let's look at an example. Let's say a pilot says, our electrical systems are malfunctioning. If we think about it, are malfunctioning is a present continuous tense. So that's exactly what he says because at the time the systems are malfunctioning. However, in the exam, now has changed. Now is during the exam. So this situation happened sometime in the past. So we say, the pilot said. Said is our past tense, and we see it happened here in the past. Notice we say, the pilot said that his electrical systems were malfunctioning. Were malfunctioning, notice we change are malfunctioning to were malfunctioning because this happened in the past. The electrical systems are not malfunctioning now during the exam. Now, here is how we change the tenses. So, present tense, I work in the garden, becomes past tense. Peter said that he worked in the garden. If you have some time, pause the video and look carefully at each tense and look at the changes. It can be a little bit complex, and we're not going to talk about it today, but you should review it on your own. However, there are some times when we don't need to change. For example, a pilot says, your airport is so beautiful. If we think about the tense, is so beautiful, do we mean just right now, or is this something that's always true? Really, it's always true. If the airport is beautiful now, it was probably beautiful yesterday or a year ago. and it will probably be beautiful tomorrow and a year from now. So this type of thing is something that's always true. That being the case, during the exam, when you report what the pilot said, notice we still say the pilot said, because he said it in the past. However, if we think about so beautiful, is that only in the past, or is that still true today during the exam? It's probably still true during the exam, so we can say, the pilot said that our airport is so beautiful. Notice we can keep the same tense because it's still true now. However, notice we can also change to was. The pilot said our airport was so beautiful. Both are possible. Another thing to note is about the word said. The pilot said that our airport was so beautiful. We can also use the word tell or told. The pilot told that. What are we missing here? Remember, if we use tell, we need to have the object. The pilot told me that our airport was so beautiful. Next is about questions. Let's say a pilot asks, "Where is the fuel truck?" To report this, we should say, the pilot asked where the fuel truck was. Now, you'll notice that the order is different. As you know, when we make questions in English, we usually switch the subject and the verb. So, for example, the fuel truck is behind you, subject, verb, object. However, in the question, where is the fuel truck? We have subject, verb. However, when we do reported speech, we switch it back. Where the fuel truck was. Notice the change. Also, in this type of question, let's say a pilot asks, "Are any parking stands available?" We should say here, the pilot asked if any parking stands were available. What's different here? Well, we notice that the first word of the question is a verb, which tells us that the answer is going to be yes or no. Are any parking stands available? Yes or no. In this type of yes-no question, notice that we need to add the word if. The pilot asked if any parking stands were available. So that's it for today's lesson on reported speech. This skill is very important and can really help you to bring up your score, especially in the structure section, which is one of the lowest among the ATCs here in Chiang Mai. So if you're not sure about it, please watch the video a couple times and also continue to take the quizzes again and again until you don't have to think about it anymore. It has to come natural for you to produce it. Also, have a look at this question here. Think about the last unusual conversation that you had with a pilot and tell me about it. You can post it on the comments in YouTube, or you can post it on the Facebook page, or you can just email me privately if you like. I'll be happy to give you feedback on your reported speech. So thank you very much and see you next time for LPR's delivery. ขอบคุณครับ สวัสดีครับ